make
that.
sure I was on the same page. Yep,
Yeah.
got. Well,
I mean,
see,
if
we
they
start talking
will
about
pay,
casualty. We
go ahead.
start talking about liability, and I
The,
find that Burns is a little more technical with helping me with difficult things like products liability, errors and omissions, some of the more complicated commercial stuff. I think Burns is a little better at than the other two parties.
okay.
But as it relates to property insurance, they're not. I'm sorry to
Got
give you
it.
a funky answer, but it kind of
Is there in this space? Do you often bundle with like general liability and the property
yes,
together? Okay.
almost always.
And is that general liability something better that Burns and Wilcox is better at, or is it more the complex liability?
It's more the complex liability separate from the
Okay.
property policies. Yes,
Okay. And you
you
said
asked
it's
that
better
question the
than
right
the
way.
other two guys. Is that?
Yeah, I would
Are you,
say that.
and is
Yes.
that Bass and All Risks or Bass and Orchid?
No, it's Basque, All Risk, and Orchid, but Orchid doesn't
Okay.
do any complicated. Orchid is a property MGA, really. I
Okay.
mean, they're not doing any GL that's at all complicated.
Okay.
It's only going to be property-based risks that they're writing, but that's kind of who we are as an agency too. So
Okay.
they're really a great fit for us. And I would say that my individual brokers at Bass and All Risks are also brokers that kind of fit our model as well,
Okay.
and they're more property guys too. Certainly my Bass guy.
Got
He
it.
doesn't get into anything funky on liability normally.
Okay. Okay. And is the majority of the business focused on just the property, or is there a lot of this complex risk that Burns and Wilcox is better at?
For us, not that much, no.
Okay. Because
But
like, and also,
again,
I'm assuming this is more smaller commercial type property buildings. Is that
that's relative. I mean,
okay?
I think that's just relative to smaller isn't quantified, So some
Yeah.
people would say everything I do is small. If you're talking to somebody at, a larger agency that won't write anything for less than $25,000 premium, well, I've only got a few policies a month that even pierce their thresholds.
Mhm.
Other people would say if you're writing a building for $5 million, that's a pretty big building. It's really relative. I'm
Got
sorry.
it. What would you say is the range that you focus on?
On commercial,
Yeah.
I mean, I probably don't write anything bigger than, I got something, nothing probably bigger than about $7 million in total insured value
Okay.
as a cap, and the minimum is the minimum.
Got it.
So we do got a lot of small stuff.
Okay. Um. Okay. And just to put it into context for me, you said your book is around 15 million. So if you wrote
Yeah,
a $7 million, that's insured value though. That's not premium. That's not
that's
a policy.
correct.
Okay. Got
That's
it.
correct. Yeah, no, I mean, maybe our biggest, there's the average is one thing. The outliers are something else. I mean, I do have a couple nice liability cases that are $70,000-$80,000 a year in premium. I do have a couple property pieces. I actually have one personal lines property piece that's $70,000 a year.
Okay.
Well, it's relative and it's down here.
Yeah.
Some of those
Yeah.
numbers don't make sense, but you have someone with a huge house here and properties in other states, and you get the ability to bundle them together with some companies. You can get a lot of value, particularly if you're going to throw in auto, jewelry, stuff like that. Put it all together.
Do you often bundle that on the personal
No,
line?
we don't,
Okay.
because that's not how this market is. This is very unique relative to other parts of the country. Generally, the best players for homeowners and property insurance don't write auto at all, and the best companies for auto insurance a lot of times don't offer home insurance whatsoever.
Got it. And is that same for like is that similar for jewelry and things like that?
Some of those, what I call that like all personal specialty lines, things like
Mhm.
jewelry and art and all that. I mean, sometimes we write those standalone. Sometimes we write them in conjunction with the homeowners. There's only going to be a few situations where we're able to offer